Hey guys, good afternoon. For today's interview we're going to be talking to rock royalty, Dave Bucket Colwell. Dave's been in Bad Company, Humble Pie, Sampson, plays with members of Choir Boys and Iron Maiden, and he's got his own band Bucket's Rebel Heart, which if you haven't heard the stuff and you like 70s, 80s rock, then this is the band for you. We're going to be talking about gear, how he started and what he's up to now. So without further ado, and if I can talk over my neighbour's gardening, Dave Bucket Colwell. All right, so Dave Bucket Colwell, thank you so much for your time and welcome to my series of interviews. We were just reminiscing where we originally met, and I was a very humble guitar player well, I still am a humble guitar player, but playing in a little band called What Next, and you guys were playing with Jones Gang, and there was Brian Ferry, there was Eric Clapton, there was Stevie Winwood. So I was truly overwhelmed that day, and you absolutely smashed it, mate. I got to say, I was backstage looking at your guitars, and they were my favourite ones actually out of all of them. So, well, Dave, I want to take you back really to why the guitar? Why did you start? How did it all start for you?
I picked up a plastic Beatles guitar at about 5, like most kids do.
Right.
And, unlike most kids, I've just never put it down, and
right.
my mum and dad, were not musical at all, bless them, but they saw my infatuation and got me a proper guitar and actually started me having lessons by the time I was about 8. So I was having classical guitar lessons.
Right. Okay.
So, by the time I got to secondary school and went on to music, I was already, at the same level as the teacher, really.
Wow. So you were learning all the notes and everything and how to read music and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, I went on to do that and sort of was an outpatient at the Royal College of Music and studied a bit of flamenco and so on. But, I picked electric guitar and, I think that the real changing point for me was seeing Humble Pie in Hyde Park, seeing Steve Barron. It's like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah. And how incredible that you ended up joining them.
Fate, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
You're a very lucky boy.
Oh, well, I think a lot of it is your talent, Dave. Do you mind me asking where the bucket came from?
I don't know you well enough.
All right. Okay.
The bodily fluids, internal or external.
Right. Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that. I've always wanted to ask you because it's a great name. So anyway, so you're starting off playing. You're getting bloody good in your teens. So when do you start sort of gigging? What sort of age?
Wow. I mean, first proper tour did. Most of my band were about 15, so we had to get our parents,
right,
to go on a tour.
Yeah.
And we were opening for the Black and White Minstrels and all sorts of weird things,
Yeah.
It really took off, I guess, when the first band I'd signed a record deal with was Angel Street.
Right.
Actually, just before that, I was in Hotline with Pete Jupp from FM.
Right.
That's when pub rock was all going. So,
right.
720 and Hotline and Angel Street. We played 7 nights a week back in those days. We were resident at the Thomas of Becket on a Monday, or maybe the Western Counties on the Tuesday, the Windsor Castle Wednesday, the Brecknock Thursday, and so on. And then we branch out to Oxfordshire and stuff like that at the weekends. And we just did that solidly for 2 or 3 years. So that's where we learned our stagecraft and so on.
Yeah. And so when did, what sort of gear were you using back then?
Was it the 4x12s and the Marshall heads?
Yeah, Marshall Head 4x12, and I got my first Les Paul Junior double cutaway cherry, which was absolutely.
Oh, wonderful.
I still love Les Paul Juniors now.
Yeah, yeah. No, I see you a lot, sort of with, and indeed that first time that I saw you play, you were playing a Les Paul Junior, and it sounded bloody awesome, actually.
You raw.
Yeah, it sounded awesome. And you also had a gold top, as I remember, with P90s. Or is my memory going bad?
No,
Would you have had one of those?
Yeah.
No, maybe not.
I did have one with P90s. Yeah, it was a '54 custom shop reissue that they made for me. But actually, I think that gig, a friend of mine lent me his '56 gold top. I remember.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, wow, wow. What about that? And you know what amazes me about just talking about gear for a second. I've got a 2007 gold top with P90s, and I was showing the wife, because she kindly let me buy it, because you got to have an understanding wife. And I said, you know what, honey? What amazes me is you could have gone into a music shop 50, 60 years ago and bought pretty much the same instrument. And to me, that just shows you the authenticity of these machines.
That's right. I mean, when I was touring with Bad Company with Mick Rouse, I mean, Mick is very much a purist, and he got me. I mean, he wouldn't dare let me play anything with spiky or anything. It was always Les Pauls or Telecasters, And I think when I actually auditioned for the Mick Rouse band, I turned up and I had a Les Paul Junior, but it was really light pink. Got it off a Marco from Adam and the Ents. And Mick said, "You're not playing that." I chopped it in for a Sunburst one.
Brilliant. But that's been your and sticking with the gear for the moment. That's been quite a theme. The Gibson.
This is my current #1 favourite.
Oh, that's had some wear in it. That's been gigged.
This is a Mike McCready signature model, made in the custom shop at Gibson, and they distressed them. I mean, this guitar it's modelled on a '59 Mike's guitar, but it was made in 2002.
Wow! And was it aged when you bought it? Yeah.
But they distressed them,
Yeah. And then and then we distress them some more when we play live, I guess, don't we?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I'm very stressed when I play it.
So we'll come back to the gear a little later, because that's a big thing for me. But when did was Humble Pie after Bad Company the first time?
It was, yeah. I joined after playing with Mick Ralph's solo band, which was about '89, I guess. And then I got asked to join Bad Company in 1990 to the Holy Water tour. And we just toured America constantly for the next 6 or 7 years.
Yeah.
Humble Pie, I met Jerry Shirley when he was living in Cleveland, and he was a DJ in America. And I was such a mad Humble Pie fan, and I sort of plucked up the courage to go and talk to him when he introduced us on his show. And, I said, I'm from the same town, and he couldn't believe it. I mean, we're the same size. We talk exactly the same. I mean, when Jerry came back to England and he wanted to put Humble Pie back together with Greg Ridley and Bobby Tench, and he called me to join. That was in 2000.
Wow.
We did an album called Back on Track.
Right. And you wrote a lot of the tracks on that, didn't you?
Yeah, and I produced it, and it was just great to play with, such an iconic band and lovely guys,
Absolutely, absolutely. So, do you ever? I mean, meeting your heroes like that and then playing with them. Do you get do you get nervous doing that, or do you just get on with it? I mean, how do you deal with that sort of thing?
I don't really get nervous. No, I mean, you know, with the exception of a few that we won't mention, they're such nice guys, you know. And I mean, I think that's why I get a lot of these gigs, is that I fit in with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you're touring big long tours like that, last thing you want any friction or anything like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Because you're living in each other's pocket, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, both with Bad Company and Humble Pie, you know, both of those bands are my favourite bands, and I'm a little bit younger than the guys, so both bands took me under their wing, you know, and taught me so much and kept an eye on me and inspired me.
How was Paul Rodgers in the band? Because I hear he's quite a strong personality.
He sure is, but I mean, he's been doing it at the top of his game for 50 odd years, and he's better, you know, than anybody else, basically. I mean, he's incredible on the stage. He just owns the stage, you know. I mean, with that company, I was with them 13 years and 3 different singers, you know, Paul, Robert Hart and Brian Howe.
Right.
But all 3 fantastic in their own way.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So tell me about how the Jones Gang started. Obviously, you've known Rick Willis because he came into
Rick Wills,
Rick Wills, sorry, into Bad Company. So how did that all start?
Yeah, I mean, he'd known Kenny a long time. Gary Granger was playing guitar with the Jones Gang at the time, and Kenny had a polo club and they used to jam there and all that, but they decided to do it a bit more serious.
Right.
You know, and Robert Hart had been working with me and he got me down, you know.
Right.
Actually, it was me that met the record label. Some guy came up to me in a restaurant and said, you know, are you Dave? I'd like to do a new Bad Company record. I said, well, Bad Company aren't playing at the moment, but I'm with this band, the Jones Gang. And he said, well, I'd like to see them then, you know. So he came down and saw us, and you know, that's how we made the record Any Day Now.
Fantastic. And then you had the #1 in America with Angel.
Yes, that was a song that Robert had written with Russ Ballard, as you know, one of the best songwriters in the world, you know.
Yeah. And
it was a great ballad, you know, at that time. Ballads were doing well, so.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, and sometimes you revolve the lineup in the Jones Gang, do you? Or does it always stay sort of static? Is it still going at the moment?
Not very often. They aren't. I haven't done it for a good few years now, and Rick Wills hasn't either. So,
right.
We, you know, I just got too busy with my touring schedule, and Rick the same, really.
The lineup revolved. Sometimes you had Ron Wood in the band as well.
Ron would come and guest now and then, sure. I mean, the nucleus of the band was at that time. Well, Robert actually left as well at some point. We got Jim Stapley in to sing.
Right.
And was with us for, you know, a good 5 years. So Jim's a great singer. He ended up singing on my new album, the 20 Good Summers record.
Right.
Up his Rebel Heart.
Right.
That's how I met Jim, was through the Jones Gang. But
right.
He's a real talent, great guitar player, singer, and everything, you know.
Yeah. So when you're, you know, you must have played with many people over the years. When you're getting a band together, what do you look for people to be in the band with? I mean, you've covered the personality thing. Obviously, that's
no arseholes tonight.
Agreed. That's a very valid point. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the time, the guys I play with, I've been played with on and off, and sort of you just put them in the back of the memory. It's like, oh, okay, he'd suit this, he'd suit that. It's, you know, the love of the same sort of music. You know, on the Rebel Heart record, well, and my record before that, Guitars, Beers and Tears, I got some really great friends contributed to it. You know, I mean, the first album there, I think I got 10 lead singers on it. You know, Danny Bones and Spike and Becca Bramlett, all sorts of Adrian Smith, you know.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Top quality people. And the production on it is, I've only got Guitars, Beers and Tears, but the production on it is just, it's real balls to the wall rock and roll. You know, the way I like it, you know.
Oh, well, I'll have to send you the new record then if you haven't got that.
Yeah, no, for sure. Is it on Spotify or iTunes or?
And yeah, it's on all of those, yeah. You
Yeah.
can actually get it on, been released through a record label, which is very rare now.
Yeah.
Pride and Joy Records.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I'll make a note of that. Yeah, definitely.
And also we've got Bucket's Rebel Heart Facebook site, which has got a shop on it. It takes you to YouTube. There's a shop on it.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's video.
Brilliant. So when
some live footage, we did our debut Rebel Heart gig last year at Sweden Rock Festival.
Right.
About 3 songs on our YouTube channel.
Oh, fantastic.
Was fantastic. I mean, first gig, 2 afternoons rehearsal. None of the band had met each other.
Oh my God! Wow.
The keyboard player, bless him, Ronnie, had never met anybody and played with any one of us before, and I couldn't afford to get him over here to rehearse. Yeah. So he lives in Copenhagen, so we just met him at the airport. You know, got on the bus, and I said, "Right, there's a few pointers I'll give you." And next, you know, we're on stage in front of 4,000 people at Sweden Rock.
Well, you know what? It's I've got this Thin Lizzy covers band over in Denmark. We're called Halfcast, and we're looking at rehearsing. Unfortunately, we lost our bass player, and we're starting off sort of a classic rock sort of thing. And I said to the guys, look, theoretically, you know, if we say we're doing this song and we're doing it exactly in the same key and just like the record, then if we all learn our parts, when we come together, technically it should all come together, shouldn't it?
It should. I mean, I think in 13 years in bad company, I think we only rehearsed 3 times, and that's because we had 3 different singers.
Holy cow! Really?
When Paul Rodgers came back in 2000, and I'd never played with Paul, and it was just the band was me, Simon Kirk, Rick Wills.
Right.
They said 2 days rehearsal in New York. Paul didn't show up the first day. Came in the second day, went through the set once. The day after, we're playing to 45,000 people. Didn't even sound check till about the 9th gig.
Holy cow! So take me back to those days. I mean, you know, you're mentioning 45,000. I mean, God, that's
I mean, the biggest tour I did with them was the Holy Water tour, which was because we had a #1 record then.
Yeah.
And how, and I mean, that tour lasted pretty much for 2 years. You know.
Oh my goodness.
I got the gig. I think my daughter was about 3 months old when I got the gig, and I don't think she was nearly 2 when I saw her again.
Oh, bless her.